Hello, it's Joyful Hermit here. I've had some more unfortunate news. Shouldn't surprise me, but I've now had two physical therapists admit that no, this condition is not going to be reversed. I saw my regular one today, the regular man, who had told me, yes, he could reverse it and break up this thick layer covering my knee that's causing constant pain and stiffness, which causes me to have to do off and on stretches throughout the day that are extremely painful and cause my spine condition to worsen. So I'm in really overload of pain all the time and have to do this or I will have worse trouble with the leg, which is already fairly crippled from this. And the time spent doing this is very disruptive to any flow of the day, but it's how my life is going to have to be from here on out. I asked him what happens if I just let the leg go and let it go stiff and just be stiff legged, but the pain will still be there anytime I take a step or even have to lift it in and out of bed and it slightly bends. There will be terrible pain. So I am stuck in this situation. I had a friend this morning, a Catholic woman, send me an email. She's been sending me some writings of a priest who's been an exorcist for like 11 years. And I've noticed, compared to the late Father Gabriel Amorth, who had been a exorcist for 40 years, that this priest's writings are very extreme and sensational, including as if possessions are rather relatively common and not rare, and oppression. He has blurred lines in his definitions, but he's marketing books, selling them online, going places speaking, and all this. It's very sensationalized. And I don't trust that. I don't trust that. Some of what he says, but of course, then someone like this friend reads it and doesn't know better. So she has decided. I finally wrote to her. I said, "You keep sending me things. Do you think I'm demonically possessed?" She wrote back, "No, but I think you're demonically oppressed." And of course, the definitions do not at all fit. I wrote back to her and did a copy and paste of some things that John of the Cross wrote and Teresa of Avila. And I also recommended that she stop reading that stuff. She doesn't have a problem with the devil in her life. She's very strong, very strong, and does not have the devil uh, bombarding her. I asked her, "Do you think John Vianney was oppressed by the devil?" Well, her reasoning was that I'm oppressed is that I have so many bad things happen in my life. Yes, I'm beat up by the devil. But this time, this situation actually is from God. God used this situation because I needed to be narrowed. My life, he wants changed. And so, anyway, I recommended to her, though, that she read John of the Cross or Teresa of Avila or something that is going to help her soul grow and her spiritual life grow, not get all caught up in reading about the devil. She doesn't have that problem. She's not a mystic. She doesn't have bombardments, um, whatever. But I'm not, and I wrote out different people. Was this person demonically oppressed? This saint or that saint who had one thing after another bad happen to them, inexplicably so. I happen to be a victim of some incompetent employees at the surgeon, as well as an incompetent first in-home PT, physical therapist, who claims he wasn't even aware of this condition. And maybe he's right. Maybe his experience was that. But I did tell him about it then. I said, "You need to know what this is so it doesn't happen to another patient of yours who I even pointed out my knee that something was wrong. At 2 weeks, it could have been reversed then. Too late now. Anyway, and the physical therapist then leading me on, saying it could be. When finally Friday, I had awakened in the night with 3 hours of horrific pain, and my knee in the morning felt hardened like concrete. It has started to harden, as it will. And so, anyway, I have to adapt to all this added pain, more pain medication, more limitation. I have no idea how I'm going to get my house finished so that it's saleable. Likely have to sell it at a great discount to a contractor or someone. And I don't know then how I will financially make it. But I had been sensing that God wanted more of me to be doing writing and sharing, and rather than this other and having all these surgeries. My neck is so bad that it's not going to have the surgery unless it becomes life-threatening. But that's a condition I must also live with, is a very painful neck, and my headache that I've had all the time for 39 years in the last 9 months has become much worse. So of course my writing isn't as good. My speaking isn't as clear-cut and short. My last video was so long, who could listen to all that? So I have had direction from the Lord on how to proceed with living my life with this situation going on. Plus, with my adult children really not wanting anything to do with me. One has cut me off totally. His narcissistic sociopathic father has been working on him, I didn't realize, for 18 years, since college, since I helped him get through college. And so I haven't even been invited to the wedding, my son's wedding. The father they've become very, very close. And my son has totally abandoned God and church, says awful things. So I've been praying about him for a long time, for forsaking God and religion. But that's part of what God has me doing, praying and loving, and as if I'm already passed on. So I'm on the other side. This is my challenge that God gives me, to live this and to observe people on earth and situations and to pray for them and love them. And if there's a message to give them, to give that message to them, whether they notice it or read it or listen or not. But that is how it is when we will be on the other side and not in hell. We will be utilized by God to love and pray for people yet on earth. And some people might reach out to me, and then I will respond through email or texting or FaceTime. But otherwise, I am not to interact with people. It's really a marvelous model for my hermit life. It has really answered the discrepancies that I have had of always thinking I needed to at least reserve myself for my 3 children, that if they needed me, and one did recently need me, briefly, for a divorce gone through. But after that, dropped me and didn't want and any kind of and didn't want to share or talk or anything. It became rude and disrespectful even. But that was God's trying to get through to me how he wants to utilize me. It's not in the world that he wants to utilize me as me being in the world. But if you can follow this paradigm of being already deceased, already on the other side, and yet seeing even more situations and more people, and whoever God brings for me to see, or the situations that arise, and to pray and to love and to give messages of hope or help, or like with the woman this morning, explaining to her, get away from that extremist writing that isn't even that exact or clear by this current priest. If you want to read about it, read Father Gabriel Amorth's couple of books that I think one of them might have even been published after he died. He wasn't in it for the acclaim and the fame and making money and being on TV or talk shows or things. He was very clear about it. 40 years of experience with demonic assaults and possessions. But read Teresa of Avila and John of the Cross. And they were beset by the devil. John Vianney was. So what? I am and have been. And it's increasing. But I have less and less of visions and locutions, because that's what happens the more you go along in the spiritual life. You get more in need of connecting with God. But that was where I was going wrong, in staying also feeling like I needed to be more connected with the world and with interacting with such as this friend or with a couple of relatives who are very upset by my situation and trying to figure out, but they're not here. They say, we need to get you into a different living situation. They're not, who's we? It's me, Hermit. They're not Catholic. They don't at all go for the hermit vocation. They don't have a clue of what a mystic is. I think mystics sort of got dumped out along with the 5 books of the Bible that were dumped. And when the Reformation came along, the Puritans burned them or drowned them. Witches, they called them in Boston. So anyway, that's what's been going on. This probably is over. It's getting close to 15 minutes. Somehow I'm having trouble with even posting on YouTube. But that's my marching orders from God. I am not going to stop doing the stretches. The physical therapist today, yes, I was upset. I don't like it when someone doesn't tell me the truth from the offset, but I understand why he probably didn't. He still wanted a client coming in twice a week, got the insurance money for his business, and also maybe didn't want to tell me that the surgeon's right. Nothing more to be done. But he did teach me the stretches I need to be doing, and he told me to stop them, though, for 2 to 3 days. No. Why should I go back to starting all over? So what if I'm nauseated and having trouble eating? I can barely eat because of the pain. God will have to handle that. It's not the end of the world. If this is how I'm going to die, this is how I'm going to die. I'm not bothered by that. Or if God allows me to be able to eat a little better, watermelon has been my mainstay. They're going out of season. Something else will come along, or I'll get enough other pain meds to help so that the pain isn't causing me such nausea. Anyway, that's it from the Joyful Hermit. And please pray for me. I really need to put so much trust in the Lord now and stick with the very painful stretches that also cause my spine then to hurt more too. But I'm caught, like in the myth of Sisyphus, of rolling a heavy boulder up a hill, only to have it roll back down. And repeated and repeated and repeated. It's a purgatory now. And but God allowed this. I think God needed to have this happen to get me even more on a narrow path and doing exactly what he wishes me to do. So no, it's not the devil this time that caused this, although there was incompetence in humans who shouldn't have been giving me bad advice, such as, oh no, you're not to do exercises this first week. This is your week to heal and rest. When I had called in and said, shouldn't I have exercises? Of course.